Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, hope all of you had a great Sunday. Hope all of you had a great weekend. If not, hope this video can make it a little bit better. And man, oh man, it is time for the new and improved MBG poll. Clap it up. Clap it up. I don't got time to waste. You don't got time to waste either. We're getting straight into it. It's going to be very interesting because we got a lot of movement. We had Texas losing. How far are they going to drop? Are they going to drop out of the top 12? Guess you have to wait and see. What about, you know who you're thinking of, Alabama? That's the team everybody's looking for. I'm going to explain my reasoning for where I have every team selected, and that is why I firmly believe you should value our poll, because I'm going to explain it. So if you see a team ranked somewhere and you're like, wait a minute, don't fly to the comment section. Hear me out. Without further ado, let's get straight into this. Oh, one disclaimer warning I want to throw in there. Or not a warning, just disclaimer. I don't know why people are still tweeting at me saying, Matt, when are you going to react to the AP poll? Matt, how come you haven't reacted to the AP poll? We're done. There's no need to react to the AP poll, guys. It doesn't matter. It does not matter. It doesn't amount to a hill of beans. However, with that being said, we will be reacting to the college football playoff poll that gets released Tuesday night. Make sure to live stream that, but there definitely will be a video, so be on the lookout for that. Let's get into, did I do a close category? Hold on, I'm pulling it up. And by the way, if you want access to these, I post them late Saturday night, early Sunday morning on Twitter. Got it pulled up right here. Here's my close category. I got Vanderbilt, the nerds. Here's a good thing about Vanderbilt. They control their own destiny. More than likely, I'm pretty sure. There could be some chaos with Vandy, but if they went out 10-2 in the SEC, you're probably getting in, or you got a great shot of it. Miami, the U, that one's simple. They went out, they're going to have a decent shot. And then Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech does not look like a playoff team, but they keep winning, and so we got to keep them up there. Moving on to our top 12, though. At number 12, I got the Utah Utes. They destroyed, who did they play? I'm drawing a blank on, but they destroyed whoever they played. Wasn't it Baylor? Beat them by 30 burgers. Same thing with the BYUs. They destroyed TCU. They're looking pretty good, too. They only got one loss. At number 10, here's where things start to get interesting. I got the Oregon Duckies. They go with my rankings. You see the arrow right here. Yeah, I know Oregon fans, you're not going to like that, but I'm not high on Oregon. They're a decent team. If I had to grade them on a scale of 1 to 10, I'd give them a 6.5. They're decent. If you want to say they're good, I don't got a problem with it. They just haven't really proven anything to me. They don't have a great win. At number 9, I got Alabama. Yep, it pains me to do it, but I pride myself in being a college football analyst first, Bama fan second. I dropped Alabama down to 9. Of course, I got Oklahoma ranked ahead of them. I guess I need to show you the teams I have ahead of them to explain it. I dropped them because, well, duh, they lost to Oklahoma. But outside of them just losing Oklahoma, they have looked not so great, underwhelming, and disappointing on the offensive side of the ball the past 5 to 6 games. Let me remind some of y'all, they've been winning these games because of the defense. Look at the Tennessee game, won that because of the defense. Look at the South Carolina game, won that because of the defense. Heck, the defense put up a touchdown. Look at the Vanderbilt game, won that because of the defense. Look at the LSU game, defense, defense, defense. Ty Simpson, he ain't been that good. He has no shot winning the Heisman Trophy. That's over with. It's donezo's. He has 5 straight games with 5 fumbles. He's lost all of them. It's resulted in 7 points every single time. Alabama, they got problems, but they are still a playoff team. No need to fear if you are an Alabama fan, because you control your destiny. You beat Auburn at Auburn. Gives me the heebie-jeebies just thinking about it. Trust me, we'll be talking about that in the days and weeks to come, or week to come. You're getting in the playoff, but you got to win out. Moving along here, at number 8, I got the team that just beat Alabama in Bryant-Denny Stadium, one of the most impressive wins of the season. Oklahoma, relatively simple. Is anybody going to argue with this? No. You could actually argue and say they should be a little bit higher, but the reason I have the team ranked ahead of them that I do, being the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. Hey, y'all know this. I'm a professional Notre Dame hater. I've stated it for years on the channel. They are single-handedly the most overrated college football program in the entire nation. It's not even close. I didn't say team, program. They get hyped up every single year, and they've done nothing. They haven't won a championship in 35, 40 years, but yet they're always in the preseason top 5, top 10 because of the brand and logo, etc., etc. But Notre Dame, is the way they're winning games. I know they really haven't played anybody, or a better way of saying it, because they played Miami and Texas A&M. They haven't beaten anybody. But look at how they're winning. They are winning by 30+. Alabama, been struggling in all their wins as of recent. Oklahoma, they've been struggling a little bit here and there. And I know they beat Tennessee at Tennessee, beat Bama at Alabama. But Notre Dame, they get the eye test nod for me. They pass the eye test. I think they're a better team than Oklahoma, and I think they're much better than Alabama. I know some Bama fans aren't going to like that because you both have 2 losses, but I think Notre Dame is better. Now, who has a better resume? Alabama, Notre Dame? Probably Alabama. But I think Notre Dame, like I said, it's an eye test thing for me. They look really good. C.J. Carr, you can argue and say he's been better than Ty Simpson. Jeremiah Love, see, that's the difference. Notre Dame can run the ball, and not many teams in college football can say it this year. Speaking of running game, we'll get to that in just a second, a little foreshadowing. At number 6, I got the Texas Tech Red Raiders. They go up 1 spot for me. They're one of the better teams in the nation. Some people got them higher. I don't have a problem with that. I don't really agree with Tech being ahead of Ole Miss in my rankings, as you can see right here. I got Ole Miss at 5. I think they're a better team than Texas Tech. I don't understand how anybody can say Tech is better than Ole Miss. I know Lane Train, they struggle with Florida, but that's stereotypical Lane Kiffin football. He plays up to his competition, plays down to it. The important thing is you won. And I know the final score deceiving, but you could argue and say, well, Matt, we won by double digits. Touche, man, touche. At number 4, woo! Let the controversy begin in the comment section. I can already smell Timothy and Bobby and Brad and Chad flying. What? No way, Matt. You can't do this. Yes, I can. It's my rankings. Hate to be the bearer of bad news. I can do whatever I want. At number 4, I got the A&M Aggies. Yep. That's right. I dropped them down. Embarrassing. If you were playing anybody outside of South Kakalaki, you lose that game. Fortunately enough, you were playing South Kakalaki. Now, I've applauded A&M. I did a separate reaction video to it. Congrats on the win. But we're getting in the nitty and gritty. We're talking about the best of the best, the cream of the crop. And you're not better than guess who? Georgia. Have you noticed? Yeah, you've picked up on. I got Georgia ahead of A&M. You're not better than Indiana, the Hoosiers, and you're not better than Little Bro State. I've said all year long. I'll continue to say. And he got exposed Saturday. I don't care that he won and he put up decent numbers in the second half. Marcel Reed can't throw a football. One of the most overrated quarterbacks in the nation. He's a heck of an athlete, a heck of a scrambler, but he's like Anthony Richardson, Jalen Milroe. You make him throw, it's going to be a disaster. A&M, they got a good defense, but that offense with Marcel Reed back there, you're not going to beat a Georgia. You're not going to beat an Indiana. And you're not going to beat an Ohio State. It's not going to happen. Actually, I'll get into all this in just a second. I think they got a better shot at beating Indiana than Georgia. I think Georgia beats A&M by double digits on a neutral site field, or even at A&M. For that sake, at number 3, I got the Georgia Bulldogs. Yep, 1 loss Georgia ahead at A&M. I'm going to explain it. Calm down, you dork. I see you dweeb, run into a comment section. Mr. Matt, you can't do that. A&M has 0 losses there. Shut up, nerd. You don't think I know that? But let me enlighten you on something. Georgia, their loss, it feels like that was a year ago. It was months ago. Who's looked better in the second half of the season, the midway point on? The Georgia Bulldogs. They've looked much better than A&M. And actually, if you want to get to the real nit and gritty, Georgia has a legit argument, in my humble opinion, for that number 1 spot. I have to grade these teams on how they're. See, here's the difference, right? Georgia, since the Bama game, has gotten better and better and better and better every single week. Alabama, they've gotten worse and worse and worse and worse. Or they've been stagnant at best, the Alabama Crimson Tide. Georgia, not so much. They just creamed a pretty decent / good Texas team. And Arch Manning didn't even play that bad in the game. Creamed them. Georgia's the 3rd best team in the country. I give Indiana, so you know who 2-1 is. Obviously, Indiana's number 2. Ohio State's 1. I do need to explain this as well, because some of you may be saying, well, Matt, if you're going to have Georgia jumping A&M, how come you don't have Georgia jumping Indiana? That's a great question. My friend will answer. By the way, Indiana does go up in my rankings. Indiana's had convincing wins the entire season, only struggled really in 1 game, and that was recently against Penn State. And that matters a lot to me. So Indiana, they passed the eye test. I'm like, okay, I've been watching the entire season. This is a great team. One of the best teams in the nation. With A&M, I've never been sold. Never been sold. And this week, it really exposed them, and it exposed to me. I was like, oh, crap, I need to really back off of. Because I had A&M at 3 last week, but after the showing against South Kakalaki, I was like, oh, this is what happens when they're going to play a really good team. It could get ugly. It could get ugly. So for that sake, I think Indiana, they have a better argument for that number 2 spot. But I do contradict myself here. Because it has to be extremely close when I ask this question. Who would I pick in a neutral site game? Georgia, Indiana. I'd pick Georgia. I'd pick Georgia to beat Indiana at Indiana. But it's not to that point for me quite just yet, if that makes sense. Indiana's undefeated, convincing wins. I'm going to pay my respects to them. I'm leaving them at 2 for now. And at number 1, obviously, we got Ohio State. But I'm starting this conversation up right now. If Georgia keeps this up, which I'm pretty sure, don't they have a cupcake next week and they play Georgia Tech? If they go in there and beat Georgia Tech, or is it at Athens, Georgia? I think it's a home game. If they beat Georgia Tech by a 30-burger, yeah, I'm probably going to bump them ahead of Indiana. And there will be talks about them being ahead of Ohio State. It depends how Ohio State looks against Michigan and whatnot. We'll see. But that is the top 12. I feel like I explained that deep into detail. Normally I read off some comments. I'll read off a couple. LMAO, A&M had about as many things go wrong in the first half, then played an absolute dominant second half to come back, and you put Georgia up for beating a 3-loss Texas, whose signature wins are versus Kentucky and Mississippi State. He didn't even really ask a question. It was more of a statement. But yeah, Georgia's better than A&M. It's not complicated. And you know what? I just thought about, we'll find out how good A&M is. Because guess what? They play a common opponent that Georgia just played. They play, guess who? Texas in a couple of weeks. Perfect. It's all going to solve itself. Oklahoma's resume is light years better than Notre Dame's. Well, I don't disagree with you there, but here's where I do disagree with you. You're not a better football team than Notre Dame. Next, we'll go with one more comment. What has Ole Miss done to be 5? Well, looks like you're an Oregon fan, so I'll leave you with this. More than Oregon. Next. By the way, Ole Miss did beat Oklahoma, top 10 team, and almost beat Georgia at Georgia. Top 5 team. Many more things I'd say. I wanted off here. Let me know your thoughts down below. But